What's up guys, welcome back. OCG Metagame breakdown for end of April, early May 2019. A couple of things caught my attention, so let's take a look. It has been a couple of weeks, but there are so many tech cards, so many new choices back in the OCG that it's quite interesting to cover them again, right? Let's take a look. So Metagame Report 4, again, all the links will be in the video description. Shout out to Road of the King, of course, and Ready for Duel for all the deck pictures and reports, of course. For this week, the latest report was, I believe, up from yesterday evening my time, and a little over 70 lists, but again, more tournaments, of course, will be discussed. The most recent product releases, Proglio, Luster, Liger, not too big of an impact. Anyway, so the breakdown. Not too many changes compared to previous breakdowns in my previous video a couple of weeks ago. Orcus is still #1 in the OCG format, even without Dangers and Summon Sorceress, as you will be seeing in a couple of moments. And Salamangreat is still solid #2, right? Equaling, or well, this is mostly, you know, representation and top cuts. And then after that, it's, well, depends on the week. We have Altergeist, Sky Striker, Thunder, Zephyros, and a lot of other decks. Anyway, so the most interesting part here, first of all, let's start off with Orcus. The first thing that caught my attention here was the Scrap Golem in the main deck. And reason why is, as you know, Scrap Recycler has been quite important in the OCG, especially because of Needle Fiber, and of course, Scrap Recycler basically is the quote-unquote new Armageddonite of sending your Mecha Phantom Beast O-Line to the graveyard to get the token. And this immediately sets up this new Link monster here in the extra, well, new, it's the Scrap Link monster, and thanks to the Scrap Link monster you can eventually, you know, reborn your Scrap Recycler. It will miss timing, but eventually you can go for Scrap Golem, and then, you know, as you know, Scrap Golem can reborn Scrap Recycle, etc, etc, sending the Jet Synchron from your deck to the graveyard. And from then on, you can have so many options. You have Needle Fiber option, you have the World Chalice Synchro monster level 5 as an option. You have the standard Nightmare Mermaid shenanigans for your Orcus shenanigans into Rusty Bardish, you know, the standard Orcus shenanigans. So adding that quote-unquote a brick Scrap Golem to the main deck, it's quite interesting. I definitely want to try this one out myself. Then again, you know, we don't have Needle Fiber, sadly. Another thing that caught my attention here, as you see, is the Lamia here in the main deck, but sadly it's not because of DDDs or DDs, it's mainly just link support or synchro support, depending on, of course, what you have on your side of the field. With Dangers, this can be much more important or dangerous, I guess. Lamia being that Dark Tuner needed for the potential level 8 synchro play for Boreload Savage Dragon, or most importantly with, you know, it can be searched out by your Dark Contract with the Gate, basically another monster to discard off of Jet Synchron, or, you know, off of your Nightmare Mermaid to set up your Orcus combo. And mainly it's, well, basically just an extra monster on the field to go for a potential link summon. So quite of an interesting engine. Keep a lookout for this, especially here in the TCG with Dangers and your level 7 Nessie. You know, you can do so much shenanigans, right? Crazy stuff. Couple of interesting things here. Some things I definitely want to try out myself. So Orcus. Next we have Salamangreat. Not too many changes. Well, again, one thing that caught my attention, well, Road of the King mentions the Crusadia tech level 3 here in the main deck, as we in the TCG already are using, I believe. So for us, I think it's nothing too spectacular. But one thing that caught my attention was the new Link monster, a new Link 4, if not mistaken, the Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess. Basically, as you know, it's like a Light and Darkness Dragon. I believe it's a Link 4. But it gains attack equal to the amount of link materials you use to link summon it times 800, and then every time, very similar to Light and Darkness Dragon, but you know, every time your opponent activates a monster effect, it will lose 800 attack to negate the effect. So quite interesting of a card, especially as Road of the King mentions in like the Orcus or the Thunder matchup, you know, decks where the monster effects are very crucial. and are not really that spell or trap reliant, your Appaloosa can definitely be a super clutch boss monster. But keep in mind, also mentions on Road of the King is cards like Mind Control, where the opponent can side-deck it against your Appaloosa to take control of your boss monster, and then, well, he or she can negate your hand traps, right? So keep in mind. But this new Link monster, very interesting one, especially because it's quite easy to make and can stun a couple of heavy monster-oriented decks. Altergeist, nothing too spectacular here with, you know, Manhunt. I've got the TCG name. Again, very interesting card, especially for Subterrors as well. But yeah, Compulsory Evacuation Device is also a card that, you know, has been popping up in other lists to combat the most irritating deck currently, especially in the OCG but also in the TCG, and that's, you know, Mystic Mindburn. It was covered on OCG Metagame Breakdown from last week. I wanted to make a video about it, but then Konami decided to drop the ban list here for the TCG, so it's somewhat faded away, but now I'm of course able to cover it here. But yeah, what can I say, right? The Mystic Mind is such a crazy card, searchable off of your metaverse, and it stuns so many decks. It's a ridiculous card that, and I'm sure you already heard of it, is that a lot of stores, most stores in the OCG are already banning it from their, you know, from their tournaments, from their weekly tournaments, and most people, again, players are asking to Konami to ban this particular card. This doesn't really happen too much. I mean, I think the last time from the top of my head were Zodiacs. Stores banning Zodiacs as an engine from their, you know, from their local stores, from their tournaments. But yeah, this already says a lot, right, about this one card. Konami bans Kaiser Colosseum, but Mystic Mind is fine, right? Again, makes sense, apparently. So we see Solomon Greats like main-necking Compulse to kinda shut down your Mystic Mind, for example. But yeah, it's still a crazy card if you think about it. Other tournaments we see here is the Hong Kong qualifier from the Asia Championship. Well, it's regular Orcust, well, with Sky Striker, Trickster, you know, Trickstar is basically like replacement for us Dangers. They don't have Dangers, so Trickstars as a support engine for, well, Nightmare Mermaid, right? Getting the two free monsters on the field with your Trickstar Candina and Carobine. Nightmare shenanigans and set up your Orcust engine, and that's interesting, we see Sky Striker, Tricksters and Orcust being ran in the same deck, so Orcust being a splashable engine in basically any deck. Another list here, the winner of the Campus League, Taiwan Campus League, we just see a Sky Striker, I guess, notable card here in the side deck being the Diffusion. It has been a while ever since I last saw that particular card. Top 8 we see a Shaddoll deck profile, but sadly it's a 60 card deck, and sadly because of grass looks greener, right? He's also running a lot of traps, and we also see the Polymerization trap card here. Winda is still quite of a strong card, so, but yeah, sadly we don't have grass looks greener here in the TCG, so that's, you know, quite of an important difference. Some other lists we see heroes. Heroes have so much potential, but Konami decided to give them a little too many restrictions, especially with their super fusion, right? Their superb fusion card, but a little too many restrictions for this deck to be that good, right? We see Invoked, for example. It has been quite a while evoked in the OCG, Super Polymerization as well in the main. Triple Mind Control, triple Instant Fusion, but again, it has been a while, right? It seems good at locals, but it really can't keep up with decks like Salmon Greats and Orcust. We see Teleport Orcust, have talked about it a couple of weeks ago in one of the previous breakdowns, like Teleport and using the, you know, the Psychic one, you know which one I mean, for the like the small assault mode engine, so that's quite interesting. And something that I haven't discussed yet is, and that's also something that the Road of the King mentions in one of his previous breakdown, is the small, can I call it an engine, like the Tenyi engine. I hope I pronounced it right, you know, Tianwei or Tenji engine with a level 7 one. Splashing in as a, you know, somewhat of, it basically has like also a graveyard at level 7. Level 7 can special summon itself if you don't control any monsters. It's basically Link Father, but as soon as it's in your graveyard, you can banish it and then compulse anything from your opponent away, and that counts for spell and traps as well. So it's very similar to Instant Fusion for, let's say, 1000 Eyes Restrict. So quite interesting of that. quote-unquote splashable 10G engine. Something to keep an eye out for, right? We see Toad Marine says, totally awesome, you know, with Paleozoics, and Marine says, it's also a deck to keep in mind, especially with the Marine says, a very fun engine, a very a special engine, I guess, but again, it falls short compared to other and probably much better decks, but again, quite interesting. We see Madolches as well, beautiful picture, but yeah, Madolches, even with that new Madolche card, it's again a crazy one card combo into a big field, but it's easily stopped by that well-timed hand trap, and that's the problem. We see Subterrors, nothing too spectacular, right? Sky Strikers, also mentioned on the Road of the King, is that Sky Striker just also main decking, you know, your Mystic Mine. Quite of it's mind-blowing for me. That this card kinda exists, but it's crazy that even Sky Strikers can splash this card in their main deck. So but yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it, right? So again, all the sources will be in the video description. A couple of interesting texts, especially for us TCG players as well. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.